The Dawn on iRadio.
Well, a very good morning to you and welcome to the second hour of the Dawn program here on iRadio, a live broadcast from the capital, Juba. I'm your host, Emmanuel Joseph Akile, and today is Thursday, the 17th of July, 2025, coming to 13 minutes now after the hour of 7. The second hour of the Dawn, we're going to talk about girls' education, South Sudan, cash transfers validation. Now, the girls' education, South Sudan cash transfers have actually helped to address the economic and social barriers that stop girls and children with disabilities attending school and learning, such as poverty, negative societal norms, early and forced marriage. So to provide deeper insight into the validation process and the steps involved, I'm joined live in the studio by Lily Rico, disability inclusion specialist from the Girls Education South Sudan, and David Malish, who is a regional field monitoring officer also from the same institution. It's good to have both of you in the studio. Welcome to our radio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. They say ladies first. Let me start with Lily. Lily, tell us the purpose of this cash transfer validation exercise and its significance or its importance really to girls out there.
Thank you very much. Cash transfer validation is one of the process to ensure that eligible girls and learners with disability receive cash transfer. That is, let's say, second stage. We begin with enrollment. We ensure that all learners across the country are enrolled in a specific mobile app that we developed. That kind of registration, recording all the learners in the system. And then the second stage is now to go back to school and verify or confirming that a learner who is eligible in the eligible classes are confirmed in class. And there are certain things that we need to ensure that we confirm these learners are studying. And maybe let me hand it to my colleague to talk more about it.
Yes, sure. Go ahead. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. When you look at the benefits, as you asked, about the validation exercise, one which I can add is to establish the number of the eligible learners, because we do that process to know, to have data at hand. For example, we can say as of last year, we paid over 1.2 million eligible learners.
1.2 million.
Over 1.2 million.
Over 1.2
eligible
learners. So how do you verify that recipients meet the eligibility, let's say, criteria?
Well, thank you so much. I think here we have processes, and one of the processes is the validation exercise. This year we use an app. So this app, from the onboarding process, we ensure that the learners who are in school attending are actually registered in the app. So the validation process is more of now confirming that these learners who are onboarded are physically present in the school. So it is a process that will prepare them now ready for the cash transfer, which will follow after the validation. And it is done by actually different stakeholders. For example, we have the state anchors who actually take lead in the process. We have people like the PIAM education supervisors who also sit there to confirm that these are the right learners being validated. We also have the JES officials and the ministry officials who also go to ensure that the process is going as expected, because we have specific guidelines. For example, we look at which classes should be validated.
Tell us which classes should be validated now.
Well, thank you so much. The classes to be validated this time are from P7 to Senior 4, including ALP Level 4.
Right. And Lily, talk to us a little bit about app. He talked about app, and people might be wondering, what is app even? The word even app, and like how can it be used, or who is going to use the app? With the level of connectivity and internet, and the world of technology. So maybe you can break it down to layman down there to understand this.
Thank you, but before that, let me just add on what he said, because it's we want to emphasize on that. The eligible classes, as he said, is from P7 to Senior 4,
Yes.
and the ALP Level 4. That applies for the learners with disability as well. The learners with disabilities, both boys and girls within the eligible classes, are the ones who are going to be validated for cash transfer. And back to your question. Mobile app, it's an application that is developed, and the users can download it in their phones, and it is not, we know there is issue of internet in the country,
right,
but this mobile app is used even when the internet is off. Like the people involved are trained on how to use it, and then they upload it in their phones. While at school level, they can use it offline. They gather all the information, they collect all the information, and when they go back to their offices, they synchronize that data now when they're on the internet. So it's a very friendly app that is, the users are commenting back that it's really friendly, and it's good. Like they do their work in time, which was not there before. Like before, we used to collect the data on the paper base, but now we're moving towards this kind of very easy way of doing it, and which is also credible. So that's what we do. We collect the data, and then we synchronize the data, and then there's a center point. Like the girls education secretariats have staffs that manage the data, and all this is done also in collaboration with the Ministry of General Education and Instruction. Yeah.
Yes. And now, Malish, what confirms that a learner is, for instance, validated in that process?
Okay, we have what we call CTEF, that is Cash Transfer Enrollment Form. That form is actually signed. After signing, it is given to the learner as a confirmation that this learner is already validated. And this form is actually coming in 4 different copies. So one copy, which is the original, will be given to the learner. The second copy will be given to the school. The third copy will be given to the county education department, and the last copy will go to the state anchor. So the reason of having these 4 copies is to ensure that in case one gets lost, which we don't wish for, but in case one gets lost, for example, the one of the learner, we can then use the one of the school during the payment process.
Right. And Lily, now, what strategies, let's say, are currently in place to ensure that learners with disabilities are accurately identified and also included during the transfer validation process?
Thank you very much. Like I started, we start with the enrollment of learners, which we term it onboarding process. During that onboarding process, that's when we identify learners with disability using a tool called Washington Groups of Questions.
Washington Group of Questions.
Yes.
All right.
It's a standard tool that is used worldwide. So that's what we use to identify learners with disabilities. We trained the people who are responsible for collection of this data, and including disability champions, which we have them with the state anchors, the implementing partners. They identify the learners. When we identify learners with disabilities, we mean different functional difficulties. Like we don't call them like learners with physical disabilities or that. We just term them as learners with difficulties. Yeah, and then there are different difficulties, like difficulty in seeing, difficulty in communicating, difficulty in hearing, difficulty in remembering, like learners who are having intellectual disabilities. They have difficulty or ability to remember and concentrate in class. So that's how we classify them. And then after the enrollment is done, now we move to verification process. Going back to school to verify that indeed this learner is having this type of functional difficulties by the experts or those who are trained to do so. And then now these are the learners we call eligible learners for cash transfer, and these are the learners who, for the eligibility, are those in eligible classes. But we do the identification for different purposes. We do support learners with disabilities in different ways, ensuring that capitation grant address certain need for learners with disability, like accessibilities, issues at school level, and even purchasing things that helps learners with disability to remain in schools. We do referrals, like we link them to services to help them, get continue with their studies, and also we things like assistive devices that helps them to, do their work, like to mobility and so on.
Right.
Yeah.
And now, Malaysia, as someone who is actually a regional field monitoring person, what challenges have you encountered, especially while conducting this validation exercise in the fields?
Thank you so much. There are actually numerous challenges. One is the security situation. You know that in South Sudan, we have other locations which are hard to reach in terms of security. So you find that for people to travel, maybe monitors, like to conduct the validation exercise, it becomes a challenge. Another challenge is the flood. You know very well that we have locations which, as I talk of now, are already flooded. So accessibility becomes an issue. The third one, you mentioned an issue to do with the internet, but I can put it general as a communication, because you find that network becomes an issue. So like if you are on ground, you need to communicate, it becomes difficult. So sometimes getting information on ground takes a lot of time, because people may need to move manually from one location to another. Yeah.
And talking about the field, can you mention some of the areas where girls' education South Sudan is finding these challenges? Some of the areas.
Well, thank you so much. If we look at Unity State, for example, let's talk about Gwitt County. It is flooded, because I personally went there, and the movement became really a problem. Even we could not reach some of the schools that we planned to visit simply because of accessibility. The vehicle cannot pass. There are other locations that people may need to use a boat, like to reach. Yeah. That is one. Even in Upper Nile also we have some specific locations which are difficult to reach.
Right. And when you find such, or you actually meet such challenges on the ground, I mean, Lily, how do you intend, or how do you normally overcome the challenges?
Thank you. Sometimes, like, you talk of insecurity, or where there's insecurity, we normally... when schools are closed, we are told by the implementing partners, for example, and we monitor the situation until when schools are accessible. We continue with the activities in the schools, and the learning continues. And also where the areas that are affected with floods, sometimes in the beginning, of course, people people adapt to the situation, and movement happens, and sometimes the learners face challenge reaching the schools, but they try their best. And one thing I noticed is that children in these difficult areas normally try their best to attend schools. So those are the things. So even our workers, like for example, those who visit the schools and so on, some of them face difficulty reaching the schools, but they try their best. Girls' Education South Sudan have been operating even with this difficult situation in the country, like the floods and all that. We've been at least doing our best, and I appreciate the workers.
Right, and we do, the people of South Sudan, especially parents, do appreciate the efforts of Girls' Education South Sudan. Now let's talk about a little bit about how receptive are the people with special needs when it comes to this validation exercise. I mean, do you see them comfortable or happy about the process? How are they turning up? And all the requirements that are put in place by Girls' Education South Sudan, do they find it easy, or how do you actually rate the enrollment when it comes to people with special needs or people with disabilities in this validation exercise?
Thank you. I think they appreciate, they are willing, because the learners are willing to study, most especially when we create a conducive environment for them at school level, and even general support at home. We normally have radio programs, our school programs that we normally speak to the public, not to segregate learners with disability, children with disability. So we're seeing difference in that. Most, like parents, guardians are now supporting their children. They know that these children have potential that they can achieve in their lives. So when it comes to enrollment time, like this year, of course, we know that things are not easy. We emphasize and we put much effort in mobilization of learners with disabilities, gender mobilization, and working more to mobilize learners with disabilities back to school. In collaboration with the organizations of persons with disabilities, we did that, and we've seen that the turn-up is far better. We have more than 20,000 learners with disabilities that we enrolled this year. So across the country, yeah. So that is showing that they are appreciating. And now when it comes to validation, they also they do come. We believe that they'll be there when we start the validation process, because only a learner who is validated will receive cash transfer. And we encourage that public and the general communities out there support your children who are having difficulties or learners with disabilities to come to school regularly in order the validation process to meet them or to find them in classes, so that they are confirmed to be in class for the cash transfer. And that is not only for all the eligible classes, but to ensure that these learners go to school. So for this year, the cutoff is P7 to Senior 4. Those are the learners that are going to be validated for the learners with disabilities. But we encourage the rest also to keep coming to school. We know that there are difficulties that they face, most especially areas that have floods and so on. But where possible, let them come to school.
Yes. And when I talk about they will get the cash transfer and something like that, someone might be wondering, how much are they going to get, or how are they going to get the transfer or the cash transfer? I mean, something that can be cleared out on air to the public.
For now, I think we still don't know, because we have not reached that point.
Now in the process of the validation.
Yeah, this is the process. We're still validating, but when we know about how much they will receive, I think the information will be passed out. What do you think?
Yeah.
Right.
Rico is actually right. What happens is this validation exercise is going to run Actually, it started from the 14th of this month. It will run up to the 29th of next month, that is August, which is a Friday. That is when it will close. So after it closes, there is another process of actually preparing the data. So when the data is ready, that's when we shall also pass another message that the cash transfer payment is going to start from this date to this.
Yes, now it's clear to you out there. Don't rush, don't crush. So we leave it there for now. We go for this short break. We will be right back and pick few calls. بنتكلم في موضوع بتاع التحقق من صحة التحويلات القديمة لتعليم الفتيات في جنوب السودان، وصعدت طبعا التحويل بتاع النقدية ده لتعليم الفتيات في جنوب السودان المعروف بالجيرلز إديوكيشن ساوث السودان في معالجة بتاع العوائق الاقتصادية والاجتماعية اللي بتمنع البنات والأطفال ذوي الإعاقة عشان هم يلتحقوا بالمدارس ويتعلموا مثلا حاجات زي الفقر والأعراف الاجتماعية السلبية والزواج المبكر والقصري أو early and forced marriage. We go for this short break and from there we'll pick few calls. بعد الفاصل حنرفع المكالمات. صباح الخير.
Ministry of Health is conducting a commemoration of African Vaccination Week with rotavirus vaccine targeting all children aged between 6 to 10 weeks. Take your child to the nearest health center during the African Vaccination Week or the Big Catch-up campaign.
Good morning, Mama Nyandeng.
Good morning, Mama Mercy. Where are you coming from this morning?
I had taken Mercy for rota vaccine at the health center to protect my child against rotavirus diarrhea in infants and children. She was also vaccinated with other routine immunization vaccines at no cost. Is baby Mercy already vaccinated?
Yes, she was vaccinated last month. Does she need to be vaccinated again?
Yes. She needs to be vaccinated with at least 2 doses of rota vaccine at 6 and 10 weeks to be fully vaccinated, immunized, and protected against rotavirus.
Really? I just heard from afar that there will be a vaccination campaign during the African Vaccination Week, but I was not keen enough to get the details.
You know, rotavirus vaccines are effective in preventing diarrhea and deaths in infants and young children. This vaccine has just been introduced this year 2025. A lot of children were not vaccinated. Some even travel without being vaccinated. I wouldn't want to see any child get diarrhea.
I didn't know that rotavirus is that serious, that it can even cause death.
Yes. Rotavirus is a life-threatening disease caused by the virus. The signs are fever and vomiting, followed by watery diarrhea, and can cause abdominal pain and dehydration. Children who survive may be dehydrated, which can cause serious complications.
Dehydrated or serious complication? Oh, that sounds scary. How can I protect my child from this dangerous disease?
The only way for your child to be safe is when your child and all children in your neighborhood are vaccinated with rota vaccine.
I will do that immediately. Where can I take my child for these vaccines? Hope it's not late.
No, you are not late. Rota vaccine and all the other routine vaccines are available at all health facilities and designated health centers located in your areas. Tell all your neighbors with children between 6 to 10 weeks to be vaccinated.
I'm glad you told me. I will take my child immediately to the nearest health center for rota vaccination.
Bring your child to the nearest vaccination site and protect them from rotavirus and vaccine-preventable diseases. This message is brought to you by the National Ministry of Health with support from WHO and UNICEF.
Welcome back from the break. It's now time to pick few calls on 0911 or 22986 or you can send a text to 13986 Remember, we're also live on our Facebook page. You can drop your comment or question there. We talk about Girls Education South Sudan cash transfers validation. iRadio.
Hello?
Yes?
iRadio.
Yes, iRadio.
قبل ما نعرض لموضوع الفتيات دائما نعلق انه افتتاح البرلمان يقول انه البرلمان افتتح
لا برلمان ده ما في برلمان ده انتهى قبل او ممكن بكره لكن هسه ده موضوع ثاني نتكلم في موضوع ده معنا منه
اوكي خلاص برضو الموضوع ده حقيقه موضوع شيء جدا
قلت منه معنا
الفتيات ايوه بس نرجع للموضوع
ما أنا منقطة؟
نقول تعليم الفتيات حقيقة ده شيء جميل جدا.
اسم الكريم قلت منو؟
استاذ قاعد مريال في المغرب.
مريال اوكي تفضل.
تعليم الفتيات ده شيء مهم وحقيقة بيحتاج لدعم. وفي بعض الأسر ضعيفة جدا فبالتالي بتحتاج لدعم من المنظمات الدولية أو المنظمة الجامعة. فنحن بنعيد الكلام ده ونتمنى انه تستمر بطريقه جميله عشان الفتيات تمشي لقدام. وشكرا.
Alright, shukran jazila. He's talking about the importance of girls education. Families need to be supported, and also institutions like Girls Education South Sudan should not tomorrow after tomorrow say we are tired of supporting. Continue helping the girls to remain in school. So he's actually commending the work of guests. Radio. Yes, get back to us on the same line 0911-22986-986. أهمية بتاع تعليم البنات في البلاد وضيوف بتاعنا في الاستوديو من منظمة بتاع تعليم الفتيات اللي دائما بتقدم الدعم في مجال بتاع التعليم وبالتحديد كمان برضو الناس اللي هم ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة أو people with special needs. Radio.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, Mama Maria.
Mama Maria, welcome.
Yala tani Emmanuel ana kujibile jinde kabargala nusulmu. Yala تعلم تبانده أصولنا ده تعلم تبانده كليكم أمام أصل بعلمات تبانات أنا بعلم أصله من جاتو بكلم هناك في برلمان هناك الجبال لنا جاتو مع أصوات اللي بيكلم ده ندير لازم تعلم تبانات مو تبانات كل ده أولاد ندير تعلم في السودان لكن في وضع اللي حصل لنا فوق ده أصل سنة ده بجد ما في يالا اللي تجيبه ما درسه يالا كلها تجيبه ما ملكه كنون كانوا باكر سادو ناس جي متكين جي أنا ده ندر إيان نجم كلاجرا لأنه ما ابتدأ هو ياجرايا أن جنا ما جرا نسيا بكون ما.
Alright, shukran. You got the question or the comment? Like there are some children who are not actually in school due to the family difficulties, especially when it comes to the issue of funds. And then she's saying about the need for enrolling of more girls in school for a better South Sudan tomorrow. Radio. يا سريعتاني واتصل علينا على 11 أو 22 986 نرفع مكالمة تاني قبل ما نمشي ونسمع لبعض من التعليقات من ضيوف بتاعنا في الاستديو. هلو راديو. Alright, revert back to us on the same line. نمشي لفاصل بسيط ومنه حنرجع. We have some comments here also on our Facebook page. But before that, we pick this call. Radio?
Emmanuel, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
David Magog from Well.
David Magog, welcome.
Let me welcome your guest in the studio. And I would like to appreciate the guests, those who have decided that they should have to help the girls in South Sudan. May God bless them for that good decision they have made. Emmanuel, I have two questions to your guest in the studio. Number one, when you cook food in the house, you cannot give it to the children alone without the father and the mother. Why the guest doesn't have a special consideration to the teachers who are teaching these girls in the school? Because, and that's why you have seen there are other plans of which you can have shipping and something like that. But if they were given a little thing, they would never respect themselves and be faithful to what they are doing. Why are you not extending this complaint that we do complain all the time, that the teachers should be given something at least? Then number two, when are you going to program for the boys? And because this one, it seems like it is gender discrimination. Are we not part of life? Because school is one. And if you are continuing like this, then the government will be informed to divide the school so that they have girls' schools and boys' schools instead of being in one school and some are getting money and the rest are getting nothing. Number two is about the materials, the school materials. Why are you not one day bringing some school materials which are benefiting girls instead of money? Because money sometimes they can be taken at home, and then that girl will remain without buying anything. Is it not possible to be like this? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, David Magog in Medina. Wow, iRadio.
Yes, iRadio.
Yes.
Yeah, طبعا سيدي إليزا مامي نيامبيو.
Eliza Mami Minyambio. تفضلي. شكرا. Welcome.
يعني عنده سؤال بسيط لضيوفتنا في فيديو. كان ناينو في program تا girls education أما في program تومن على support education ده. Mostly Burua be focused based on girls. Yala yan karanaino fi context ala sena fogwede yan fi yal fi school tanin ala ulat. Umon aulat mendum teriga yan tanin de orphan tanin de mendum nasar gisaidumun. They are just struggling on their own in order to go to school. Yala sikili iyal zere de mon gamol kalanto mon kef iyal almendum nasal giba kumon fi school umon aulat mon gi struggle on their own asanbura fi school juz min sikili yala al aulat zere de mon gi include mon fi program wala mon gi focus only on girls. They are caution tailomo.
شكرا جزيلا ليزا من يامبيو لمشاركتك وسؤالتك. وفي question here أو في رسالة هنا في فيسبوك بقول from Wori Sama, good morning, and my question there is the primary schools and secondary schools no any fee should be paid in public schools, and then he's saying why every scholarships are or why are some secondary or primary schools are still taking money from people. I think that's a question to the Ministry of General Education in particular. We come back here to our guest in the studio. How about 16 minutes to the top of the hour? Marial was talking about there is need to support girls to remain in school. Mamar Maria talked about girls enrollment in the schools, and some children are out of school due to the difficulties of their parents or families when it comes to funding. We got the question of David Magog in English, and then Eliza was talking about boys, and some of them are even orphans, no backup and no support. Do you consider including them, or when are you going really to support boys as well? David Magog was talking about also the same thing of boys being included, but also he mentioned the issue of misappropriation of the funds, talked about the welfare of teachers and the importance of also scholastic materials. So now we come back to our guest in the studio. Lily, let me start with you. You can comment or respond.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Let me start by the second caller was talking about the economic crisis in the country. I think my advice would be let's prioritize education, because we all know the benefit of education. So in a situation where resources are scarce, we need to prioritize on what we will do with what we have. So I just encourage that we continue supporting our children to go to school with what we have until we hope things get better. Yeah. The second question was about why do we leave teachers instead of supporting only the girls. I think this comes back to the initial purpose of the program, was to raise the gender parity. Girls were very few in school. Like there are schools that had no girls at all, and some schools had really very low number, very low ratio compared to the boys. So that's the reason for the program, for the guest program, and we've seen the outcome that now we've attained the gender parity. Boys to girls are now equal in class, other than when the program just started, maybe some schools had 1 girl, 10 boys. So we're addressing the this kind of parity. Yeah. For the teachers, I think I may not have much. Maybe my colleagues can add on that. And, again, about the scholastic materials, the program to provide through the capitation grant, schools prioritize on what they want to do with capitation grants, and some schools provide that. Not only that, even some schools provide sanitary pads in school, like in the office. When the girl starts their period, suddenly they have something to support them. They do a lot with the capitation grants. They improve their structures. They bring desks and other things, the chalks and everything like that, to support the learning. For both boys and girls. People are saying that boys are not benefiting, but boys are benefiting indirectly. Imagine a class with no desk, like nowhere to sit, or there's no chalk. You understand? So the boys are benefiting. There's an environment where they can learn, and it's only that the cash that they're not getting direct. So to that caller, his reasoning is good, but then the cash is also supporting girls in different ways that is helping them to maintain them in schools. And there are so many good story of change that we recorded that the girls are using the money for. Like, for example, in one of the states, the girl used the money, gave it to her mother. The mother started the business, and the business is now paying all the girls and boys in that family in school. So there are many good success stories around that cash, and that's what we really learn from. Yeah, thank you. Maybe I can.
Yes, pass it to Malish. You can add something there. We have some points that she did not touch, so I want you to touch on them.
All right, thank you so much. Lily captured actually most of the questions. Just a slight addition into the issue of why pay only girls but not teachers. You know, in the programs, there is something specific which is to be given to a particular person. So the cash transfer is meant for eligible girls, but not teachers, and that is the reason as to why the eligible girls, including learners with disabilities, are the ones being given this money. It doesn't mean that the program has not been supporting teachers. I personally worked as education specialist at one point where I was training the teachers, training them. The problem here is that because people are looking at the cost, but we should be looking at how the program itself is benefiting people. Yeah. So, for example, if you're getting the knowledge, it's even more than getting the cash. That is how I can look at it. Yeah, but of course, as I said earlier, it is because the program is defined on what exactly it should be doing. I know that the teachers are feeling it like now we are preparing these learners, they are the ones receiving and we are not receiving, which is a big challenge. But we hope that maybe another different program may come in to actually look at particularly the issue of the teachers. And then in terms of the school materials, of course, as Rico also put it, we have the capitation grants, which actually cater for many things. The money of the capitation grant is actually meant for the development of the school, and in which case that money is also given in conjunction with the school management committee and the board of governance, who oversee that this money is used as expected. So, for example, the issue of scholastic materials is one component which is captured with that money, the issue of maybe construction and the repairs, among others.
Mama Mary was talking about what do we do with children who are out of school, for instance, especially girls who are out of school, if we are to help them to go to school. Yes, Lily, if you can just say something to her there from Gudele, Mama Mary.
Thank you. I think we normally have this radio program that we encourage people, and that's what is really changing our perception of our people. and most people now embrace education. So we encourage that people still prioritize education, and girls who are out of schools are welcome back to school. And even girls who are pregnant, for example, we do not reject them to come and do the exams and come and be in school. So we encourage people to not let's all work together as a country, not to see our children out of school, but we should be participating in every way that these girls, boys who are out of schools, to go back to schools. And someone who asked about orphans and boys who are vulnerable. For now, we are not directly supporting them like. Most of our support, we said, it's indirect for boys, but for the learners with disabilities, they have, being having disability is an extra cost in terms of mobility, in terms of doing things and all that. So those are the vulnerability that we are now kind of piloting to support. They need to, for example, a learner is having a wheelchair which is broken down. There's no way the learner can walk but to use the wheelchair. So with this money, they can repair their wheelchairs. They can do a lot that can keep them in school.
Right, let's pick this call. Hi, radio. All right, get back to us on the same line. We have about 7 minutes to wind up. Manish, let me briefly come to you. I understand. I want to ask you about the key role stakeholders involved in the Girls' Education South Sudan cash transfer validation process. What role are they playing? But then I want you earlier mentioned the school anchors, and you mentioned some of them at the state level, for instance. But then what role are they really playing based on the instructions or the policy of the Girls' Education South Sudan to ensure this validation process is a success?
Well, thank you so much. Let me start from the ground level. Of course, at the school level, we have the School Management Committee for the primary section and the Board of Governance for the secondary section. These are the ones who directly oversee the activities in the school. For example, when we talk about the validation process, they will be there when we come to the school. There is what we call a summary form, the cash transfer summary form, which they need to sign in, actually, to see that the right learners are validated. Then the other stakeholders, as we move from down upwards, we have the PIAM education supervisors who actually oversee the process. They are like monitors. They monitor the validation process. Then we move to the state anchors. We have people like the school officers who directly conduct the validation exercise. Like they are the ones using the tools. We mentioned about the app which is used in the tablet or the laptop or even a smartphone. So they are the ones who will go and call the names of these learners. For example, say Akile. Then they check this Akile is in the primary 7. Then ask you some few questions, put those details. Then after the state anchor, we move forward to the ministry officials. We have also ministry officials, because when we talk about the policies, for example, the guidelines are prepared by the ministry to ensure that we are actually working in collaboration with the ministry. And we also have our donors who once in a while also go and monitor the programs, including the JES staff. As I talk now, we are in preparation of sending people to the different locations to monitor the process, because as I said earlier, the process started on the 14th of this month and it will run up to the 29th of next month.
Right. How I wish Akile can go back to primary 7. Remember the old days. Now, Lily, tell us a little bit what protocols exist really to report and also investigate exclusion errors of potential misappropriation related to this validation.
Thank you very much. Like he said, we have guidelines developed by the ministry. That's what we use. And for example, we mentioned that the learners that are to be validated are from P7 to Senior 4. In case of any learner who is not in this class happen to sneak in, we will not validate that learner. We will not validate any learner that is not in P7. We will not validate any learner with disability who is not in P7. A learner with disability that moved from lower classes P7 will not validate because it's not eligible. And then we have a scenario whereby some learners from different schools try to sneak in and to be validated. No, we're not validating any learner who is not from this specific class. And normally we check the other documents to ensure that this learner is in that school. And the app is really good that during the onboarding, we onboarded the right learners. We have them in the system. We cannot get any learner who is not in the system to sneak in for the cash transfers.
Right. And briefly, Malesh, do you see, based on the monitoring data, do you see any impact that the cash transfers having on girls' enrollment and retention?
Yeah, great. Yeah, there is actually a very great change. As I mentioned earlier, from where we started to where we are, the enrollment has been increasing, and that's why I initially mentioned that the number of the eligible learners who were paid as of last year reached to over 1.2 million. So it's actually a very great increase. Yeah, that is why one caller was saying that the program should continue because they have even felt the impact on ground.
Right, I'll give you 30 seconds for your last message. Lily, what would you say on behalf of Girls Education South Sudan on this particular topic before we can wind up? Yeah.
Thank you very much. Today we're here to make the public know about the validation process that is going on. Let's support our children to go to school so that the validation finds them there, because we do not validate a learner who is not present in school. And I encourage all of us to just ensure that we are doing the right thing, because the right thing leads us to something better. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Malish.
As the validation moves on, I encourage people to report issues that may come around, for example, misappropriation, among other things. And as they do the reporting, we have some telephone numbers. We have two numbers, actually. There is MTN number and the Zain number.
You can share, yes.
Yes, the MTN number is +211 928 520 824. And it is also used on WhatsApp. So they are free to reach us through WhatsApp. Then the Zain number is +211 917 647 891.
Right. Thank you very much, Lily, Record Disability Inclusion Specialist, and David Malish, Regional Field Monitoring Officer, both from the Girls Education South Sudan. Thank you both for joining us on the Dawn today. Hope to have you soon again.
It's a pleasure having you.
All right, with that, we have come to the end of the Dawn edition for today. Join us again tomorrow morning at the same time to get the latest on what's happening in South Sudan and beyond the borders. Up next, news in Arabic with Obaj Ukuchaga. On behalf of the Dawn team, Paulino Ate, our most producer, Bahria Johnson. My name is Emmanuel Joseph Akile. Have a good day.